Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Teresa McAllister, and we are here from 2 to 4. And we know we all been calling in, giving tributes to our very beloved Miss Sandy Cookman. And so we know also this is Women's History Month. And because it's Women's History Month, we want to take the time to spotlight our Miss Cookman in a very special way. Later on, we will take call-ins, but we're going to be expressing how significant it is for women that have been able to be empowered now to be able to do great things. We know it hasn't been too long ago for women just began to vote. So we want to talk about the business aspect of Ms. Cookman. We want to talk about other leaders that are here with us today. They're going to introduce themselves and let us know that it's difficult on this journey of doing business. It's difficult on this journey of becoming, especially as women, to be able to come out and empower others. So we want to talk about how much Ms. Cookman empowered so many other leaders, even people in business. So we're going to start out with each lady's going to introduce themselves, say who they are, and then we're going to talk about saluting Ms. Cookman for Women's History Month.
Well, good evening. I am Apostle Dr. Lillian H. Spearman, and accepting this opportunity to be with this powerful group of women today.
Hi, I'm Apostle Betty L. Kelly with the Miracle Temple Holy Deliverance Church of God Foundation of Truth International. It is a great blessing to be here today to salute our great sister in Christ who have done so many wonderful things for our community. And we are ever grateful to God to be here today.
Good afternoon. I'm Apostle Georgia Walker, Senior Leader of New Hope Gospel Ministries Incorporated. We are located at 1059 Southern Avenue in Fayetteville, directly across the street from Massey Hill High School. I'm also the president of the Fayetteville-Cumberland County Ministerial Council. I'm a chaplain with the Fayetteville Police Department and with Cape Fear Valley. Also have a radio broadcast here at WIDU, and thanks to Sandy Cookman, who got me connected with that. It's called WIM, Word Empowerment and More, every Sunday from 1:30 to 2. Please listen in if you can.
Thank you, ladies. So let's give a little working definition of Women's History Month. So it's an annual observance to highlight the contributions of women to events in history and contemporary society. It's been celebrated during March in the United States, Germany, Australia, nationally. So it is an opportune time for us to really, as women, to spotlight, as it's been given to us through society. The world has been giving us this opportunity to mark our calendars all month long, talking about the accomplishments and achievement of women. And so it's also, this is a corresponding with International Women's Day on March 8th. It is also observed all in October in Canada. And so we have different means of how it's being observed. But what we want to do today is focus on the highlights and your knowing Ms. Cookman and talking about that business side of her. Talking about some things Brother West was letting me know they will have made shortly almost 40 years. Wow. In WIDU radio. And so again, this is something that we love her. This is very difficult and hard for us at this time with the passing of our sister Cookman. We're all hurting, but we're praying for the family. We're praying for Kim, but we still have some great things we can say, some great things we can share, since we know we can't do it at the homegoing service. We can share what we know from the business side of her, the works that you saw her do. So I'm going to start out from my right, and Apostle, just kind of share that business part you saw. Let's highlight her as that woman of God from that perspective.
You know, that's very interesting that you would start there. Shani had a way of letting you know from just when she would meet you, at least when she met me, and we talked. Sonia had this way of telling me about myself and what I could do things that I didn't even know that I could do. She could see things in you that you literally were not aware that you could do it. I was always kind of shy in a way when I meet people, and she brought out the ability. She had the ability to bring things out of you that you didn't really know was there. I didn't like to be a public speaker. I never thought that I was a public speaker. And she says, well, I don't know how you could think that. Didn't God call you to preach? I said, well, yes, but, and so she just so gently and so charmingly brought me around to understanding that, what I was feeling was what I was feeling, but not what God had given me. So she said, and so she was able to cause me to understand that there was far more in me than I saw and that I thought that I had the ability to do. So I think that every business leader has a responsibility to actually bring the best out of their employees. And so even though I was not being employed, she was actually, because I was working in the community and because I was working with the other family here at WIDU, she wanted me to know that I had things in me that I had not used or that I didn't really realize that were there. So I can appreciate that. From a business point, I believe that she was what we call a cool operator. She made it happen, and she caused others to see things about you that you didn't even know how to express yourself. So,
Again, Apostle Kelly, we're sharing about, I know you know a woman that has done great feats, and we celebrate you. I know you started out from the time of some of your first accomplishments that you did, even in building churches and different things that was done. You can tell us just how Sandy, Miss Cookman, probably had some of them same experiences when it got time to do business, and you had to carry yourself a certain way as a woman. Can you tell us some of the things that take our accomplishment, what it takes for us women to come forth, especially from the business side?
Well, as women, we've always had this problem, Well, I'll say that it's not that nobody wants to help us. That's women has always been the ones that stayed home and took care of everything. But Cindy had a way about her to inspire all of us. She was a go-getter. She didn't sit around and want and wish and hope. She made it happen. And it helps all of us as women to know that we can do all things through Christ who strengthened us if we just trust and believe him. So through my experience, we can't sit around and wait for other people to make things happen.
Yes.
We need to learn to do whatever God guides us to do and make things happen for ourselves. Because if we sit around and wait, that what's in us is empty. It's not good for the people. But if we allow God to use us to bring it out, we can help a lot of people.
Yes.
We are inspired by one another. Women inspires women. When we see women like Miss Cookman going forth, it teaches us that we can do the same thing. We can do greater things for our community.
Yes.
If we have a heart and concern for our community, we can do great things as we look at one another and be inspired by one another.
Yes, indeed. And that's one thing she inspired me as well. We'll talk about that, some about that women empowerment that she launched out into that side of the business side of working that for women. She had a heart for the women to be able to fellowship. She had a heart to bring us together, and that luncheon was something awesome. But before we go into that, Apostle, will you also share with us, some of the things from the business side, especially as you are heading up the ministers, and just share a little bit of that, what it really takes for women to hold their head up, not be stopped because of people may say, you don't belong here, you're not supposed to do this. Most time we know men, oftentimes it's just automatically accepted. But that woman has to do a little bit more pushing. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, it's first and foremost, I just want to say I express our condolences to Wes and Kim and the WIDU family on the passing of our dear beloved Sandy. But in being a part of the WIDU radio station and having talked with Sandy when I first got started, I didn't know what all that would entail. But I knew we needed to do something in ministry more than what we were doing. And so being connected with WIDU and the anniversary, So one day I said, okay, I'm going to go talk to Sandy. And like I shared the last hour that we was on, that I was a little bit intimidated and not knowing what to say and how to approach Sandy. But she made me feel very welcoming and allowed me. At first, I started out with 15 minutes, and then she was able to extend it to 30 minutes. And you might not think that's a long time, but anytime you go into the station and you begin to record, you will find out that it's a little bit more time than you think. And so you have to make sure that you have your things together. Now, as far as what you asked me about the ministerial council and leading people and putting on events and things like that, you can't do it by yourself. And that's why you have we have the executive board. We have the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and a chaplain. And actually, if you look at it, it's also fivefold, but in a different sense. But I'm in a studio right now with great women of God. I consider myself a junior compared to you all and what you all have accomplished in your lifetime, and not by age. Age really is okay, but it's not just age, it's what you've experienced before I came along. And so when you think about who you're surrounded with, and all the time it's not men that's tearing us down. Sometimes
No,
it's women.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you know, things go, you know, you have to
Sometimes it's
look
us.
at the things that you have already that God had put in you. So as a kid growing up, I never knew anything about me being a minister. Even when I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, I didn't have a clue that this would be what God called me to do. When my husband acknowledged his call in ministry, I told him I would be his best cheerleader, not knowing that there was a call on my life. And that's just in the things of God, but there's more to being who we are in society than just who we are in the things of God. Because I was also in the Army, so I was trained as to how to lead. There are many things out there other than just church that we glean from to
That's
be
right.
leaders.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
And I thank God for each and every one of you. Apostle Kelly, I first heard you speak at Parks Chapel when it was over on Slater, I think, the old Parks Chapel, when Pastor Ford was over there before Kingdom Impact was built. So I remember you from that day to this one, and some things in between. Dr. Spearman sitting there in WIDU on Bragg Boulevard waiting to get our turn to go in to talk. We just started chatting, and God has connected us from that day to this one. And the McAllisters being connected with you through WIDU and the Pastors Coalition. So all of us are leaders, but it takes us to glean from one another to become
right.
greater leaders. So when you talk about Women's History Month, Sandy Cookman is written there in the history because of what she imparted into each and every one of us. Amen. To see her work that anniversary was amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. And she was bound and determined she wasn't going to get any of the credit. But when you think about people like Mary McLeod Bethune, Harriet Tubman,
Yes.
and all those people, Sandy is right there. You all are right there, leading the way for others to follow. And so, yes, it touches my heart really near and dear to talk about women's history, even at this monumental time that we are confronted with the passing of our dear loved one, Sister Sandy Cookman.
So join in at any time, either one of you that at the mics, Apostle, both of you at any time. We have another guest that's joined us, and we are spotlighting Sister Cookman's life and some things we saw. It's Women's History Month, so we want to talk about that. You know, when you get as a woman going into business, the attitude, we heard about that, the character that you needed to have, that has to be developed. And most of the time when it's being developed, it's developed through a lot of hurts. And I'm sure that Miss Cookman had to go through a
Yes,
lot of
Lord
hurt,
Jesus.
still hold her peace, and still come out smiling. And so again, we want to thank you for joining us, Ms. Jones, at this time, and just share. I know you were friends with Ms. Cookman, and we just want to highlight her. Those friends that knew her knows what it takes in Women's History Month. Women's history is just what we need to spotlight our loved one.
Sandy, as I mentioned on Tuesday, Sandy was my sister in Christ. She was my business confidant. She knew a lot of things that I was doing, a lot of projects that I was working on that the community had no idea. She was a dear friend, especially after my husband's passing, because many of you know Darvin worked community outreach for the hospital. And Sandy and Wes WIDU was the very first place that Darvin came to get his health and wellness journal to the African American community. He saw a void. He knew how to fix the void, but we needed that platform to get that message out to the masses. Sandy and Wes gave us that opportunity to do that. So after his passing, and then when I had to come back and do the show, and he wasn't here with his camera, and his presence was here, but he wasn't here. And Sandy called me in her office. She let me cry. She gave me some tissue. She told me some very encouraging words. And then I was able to come out and do what I needed to do. But one thing about Sandy was the epitome, as far as I go, Sandy was the epitome of class and elegance when it came to radio. Those of us that know radio is rough, is cutthroat, is people having assumptions that they shouldn't have, and putting you up in places that you shouldn't be, and putting you down in places that you shouldn't be. For her to have to go through that and still keep those Christ-like qualities, I had to give it to her. Because while she was over here being Christ-like, I was across the way not even thinking about being Christ-like. Emotion was running crazy, and I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. And whereas Sandy would be like, okay, I see the problem, but let's find a solution.
Wonderful.
And that's what I admired about her.
And share some more of that when you're talking about the business of radio. So many of us don't know what it takes to be in radio. So share us some powerful points about that can help us understand what Ms. Cookman really kind of experienced when it comes to radio. Some of those things working in radio.
Do you want the politically correct answer, or do you want the honest answer?
I won't. How Sandy would tell you to say that answer.
Okay. Sandy would pretty much, like I said, Sandy and Wes both, because they came here, I don't know, they were already here when I came to the Fayetteville market in 1990. And my husband introduced me to them. But I want to say that I was already working for the station before they went to Bragg Boulevard. And but Bragg Boulevard is where everyone knows WIDU and that type of thing. I remember WIDU being on Water Street. I remember WIDU being on Ramsey Street over by Fay Block, that concrete place. There was a little building that was over there. And do you remember? Yes. And it was over there. And we were trying, and that was the only station that was playing gospel at that time. And so you had the adversity from the community because they wanted the secular music back that they had. Then you had the dust and everything from Fay Block going on. So, But once again, class and elegance.
Yes.
It always took over. So I admired her about that, because anyone who knows the radio industry and truly knows what goes on behind the door, what you hear and what you think you know is not the case. It really and truly is not the case. There are a lot of adversities that we have to deal with, especially black women in radio, especially in commercial radio and corporate radio. Our passion is usually perceived as something that it's not.
Right.
And we are written or seen as things that we are not.
That's right.
So when you're dealing with that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, in Sandy's case, 24/7,
Yes.
and then her to be in the relationship that she was in back when it was not cool. So for her to have stayed in the business
Yes.
for as long as she did, I applaud her.
Yes.
Because I kept trying to leave. And God kept pulling me back.
Right.
But I tried to leave several times, but I never, ever, ever, ever saw Sandy leave. Even with the sexism in the business and the racism in the business and all of the other isms in the business, Sandy stayed true to herself.
Yes, yes.
And she always met this adversity with a smile and with encouraging words. Even if you came at her side-eyed, she would always smile.
Yes.
You would never see that emotion. Now, you come at Omega like that, but you never saw that with Sandy. Never, ever saw that with Sandy.
Yes.
And for them to be in the industry for as long as they have been, consistently playing gospel music,
Yes.
24/7,
Yes.
not just 1 hour a day, not just on Sunday, but Sunday through Saturday, 24/7. That's unheard of.
Unheard of.
Yes.
Unheard of. Unheard of.
It's unheard of.
Yes, indeed.
And they did it as a team.
Yeah.
And that's what's so amazing about it. They had several opportunities to go with the major corporations. They had
Yes.
several opportunities, but they never wanted to do that. And I applaud them for that. I
Yes,
applaud
indeed.
them for standing their ground on that. I really and
indeed.
truly do.
Yes. That's so true that we had those conversations of times where they could have did it another way, a secular way, but they decided, no, we're not going to go that way. That means it can be a less of receiving finances.
That's right.
Less of you having that, and so that's why I want. It's so crucial to really highlight what different ones have laid a foundations so somebody else can easily step in better. Because they've already went through and did the hard work. And so I appreciate Wes and the works of Ms. Cookman, because I can see the groundwork that was laid. I can see that someone else can come in and you have someone there that has an example for you. Many people have purpose and plans but do not have an example. So that's what she became, an example, and Brother West became that example that we needed so much till it was spilled over into that side of her women's empowerment luncheon. And so during that time I really got to know that business part, and I'm like, I'm tired now, Sandy. I'm tired, but we got to let everybody know, keep making an announcement. Everybody would take their packets, and so but get started. She said, here's your packet to go put out, to sell the tickets or to announce to do that type of work. And she was adamant about it because we wanted to get them into the early bird tickets, all that they could. She was always thinking about what they could do so everybody could attend. And so I just thank God for that, because even with those ticket sales, we knew that they were shorting themselves.
Yeah.
And so if anything, it's crucial. That's why we're doing this tribute. Everybody's doing a great job all week long. Different ones. The last show with Apostle Spearman and different ones, his walkers. Y'all were really highlighting some great details of what it takes also is continuing to help others, and so it's so crucial and special. We want to do this roundtable for the women's history because people just don't know what you go through, and when they go through that, we ought to give them, the Lord said, give honor where honor is due. So we're not making something more than what it should be, but it's a time that when you can show honor, give
That's
honor
right.
where honor is due. So for Women's History Month, we're gonna take a break and then we'll be right back.
Two people injured. The gunman is dead after a shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia. Today, class is canceled at that institution for the balance of the day. Iran's new supreme leader releasing his first statement, saying that Iran would keep up its attacks on its Gulf Arab neighbors and use the effective closure of the strategic Strait of Hormuz as leverage. Vice President J.D. Vance in North Carolina. He'll deliver remarks tomorrow in Rocky Mount. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says he's awaiting White House approval for a major drone production agreement proposed by Kyiv last year. States are getting new rules for cash purchases after the U.S. Mint stopped making pennies and the 1-cent coins get scarcer. Turning to sports, Minnesota Vikings hosting Kyler Murray on a free agent visit, focusing their latest quarterback search on the first overall pick in 2019, who was just released by the Arizona Cardinals. The meeting was confirmed by the AP by a person with knowledge of the situation. Bruce Farrell, NCN News.
For the rest of our Thursday, showers and storms are possible. Some of those could be strong to severe, packing damaging wind gusts. Temperatures will gradually drop through the rest of the day today. We'll drop into the mid-40s by this evening and have breezy conditions, then even colder overnight. Temperatures drop to the mid-30s to start the day on Friday, and we'll have mostly clear skies by Friday morning. As high pressure builds in for the start of the weekend, lots of sunshine Friday, highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
Remember the rotary phone? Well, soon that's what people are going to ask about gas-powered cars. And every day we see videos of robots becoming more and more like us. Welcome to the future. At Fayetteville State University, we believe that anything really can happen. So wherever it is that you want to go, we've got a program for that. Visit Fayetteville State University and find out how we're preparing students just like you for what comes next. Fayetteville State University. Are you in?
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Hello, I'm Eric Hurley with Fayetteville Police Department Traffic Unit. We don't write tickets to raise money, we write tickets to change behavior. Speed was the primary factor in more than 60% of the 28 fatal crashes we investigated last year. Every stop we make might be the one that prevents the next death. I'd rather give you a citation than tell your loved one you're never coming home.
I'm Detective Deal with the Fayetteville Police Department's Traffic Unit. As a crash reconstructionist, I don't guess what happened, I prove it. We measure, photograph, and digitally rebuild each fatal scene millisecond by millisecond. Speed is the most common factor we find in deadly crashes. I've seen cars split in half just because someone was in a hurry. These aren't freak accidents, they're choices, and every choice has a consequence.
If you see blue lights in 2026, expect a citation.
If we see this scene again, someone didn't listen. Your speed, your choice, your consequence.
Speed kills, respect the limit.
As a cold front moves through the state, we'll see a good chance for showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. Then we'll clear this evening through tonight and have chillier temperatures by our Friday morning, a cooler afternoon Friday. Showers and storms are likely mainly through this afternoon, and we'll drop to the mid-40s by this evening with breezy conditions. Mostly clear with temperatures dropping to the mid-30s by Friday morning, then sunny on Friday with highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
afternoon, and welcome back to our highlight spotlighting our Miss Sandy Cookman, because this is Women's History Month, and there's so much work that Miss Cookman did. Different ones are calling, doing a great job, telling some of the things that they experienced working with her. And especially we want to keep on into that business side of the house. Brother Cookman would tell us that, well, Sandy did that bookkeeping. She did all the financial part, and he was doing other things, and she was getting the sponsors, and she was doing different things that, you know, and so yes, things were looking good, but there's always someone behind the scene that's got to go a little bit deeper, especially when it comes to the finance department. So Apostle Spearman, you know how that is when you're trying to get contracts and do work. So kind of share to us how Sandy might have felt when it comes to those type of things.
Yes, I'm sure that she felt some kind of way. And I'm sure that she met many challenges, as we all do as leaders. Being a pastor of Second Chance Christian Fellowship Church and having to contact builders and contractors to come and to extend on the building process part of it and all of that. It was touch and go, and it was sometimes frightening, and sometimes just overworking and just having to be there, because a lot of times we're just not thought of seriously when it comes to business aspect of something.
Yes.
It's okay, we can stand in the corner maybe and read a few Psalms, but when it comes to being in charge of the building process and being in charge of the ownership of something and being in charge of extenuating things, and making it work, people a lot of times don't know that we have a vision for what we desire to have, and that we will stick to it until we get it done. And so some of the contractors that we had to hire, actually I had to do the talking. I was the one that had to make sure that they did the job that we expected them to do. And sometimes when they would try to tell me what they were going to build, it got to be this size, or we're going to have to do this, and I would say, no, sir. And then we would talk about it, and they'd say, well, I see what you're saying now. And then they could alter things or make things happen the way we needed it to happen. So I'm sure Sandy went through a lot of that. And even now, and when she would have certain contractors, even the ones that she used to do some work on this particular building here that we're in, that's so beautifully done.
Yes.
And she introduced me to the man that was the contractor that she was using, and I still use him to this day, because he does an excellent work. And that's what we're all looking for, someone who can do an excellent work. And that's why women have to be willing to share with one another.
Amen.
When they find something that works, or someone that will work with them, we have to be willing to share that information so that we can get the kind of help that we need. And so one of the reasons, only way that we can get it is if we are willing to share. And sometimes, as women, we have to really stand and be able to not hold back and withhold information that's going to be helpful.
True. That is so
and it's
true.
going to make it happen for all of us. And Sandy had that kind of personality, where when she ran into something good, something happened, and she was able to use certain people to do certain things. She said, hey, Dr. Spearman, I know you're working on such and such a project. Maybe you could use this person, or maybe do you know them? So she was willing to share.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important with us as women, as entrepreneurs, and as all the things that we have to do in our lives, and for the projects that we're working on, and for the positions that God has placed us in. We have to be willing to share. So one of the things that I admired so much about Sandy, and I need to share, she knew how to treat everyone.
Yes, she did.
And she was such a good role model for how she even treated her husband. And so you could watch. Sandy was one that walked it out. She didn't just talk it out.
That's right.
But she walked out things, and you could learn so much from someone with behavior such as that. So I actually, being old enough to be her mother, but I learned a lot of things from her, and they certainly made an impact in my life, and I'm a better person for having met her and have worked with her. And the business aspect of her life was just as important as a social aspect, and all the other aspects that she had. She made it all work.
Yes, she
and I appreciate every single thing that she has done and left an impact and impact on my life for real. And I'm a better woman because I met her and because I had a chance to talk with her and to watch her walk it out and not just talk it out.
Amen.
And it was funny you said the business aspect of it, because one thing that I stayed away from when I was in radio was the sales end of everything. I enjoyed being on air. That was my passion. That's what I enjoyed doing. But it was something about dealing with clients and dealing with people and different personalities and having to put on a face that you really didn't want to put on because you had to go and to have a meeting at a particular time. That was something that I never did on air. I could go in with a hoodie and look in any old kind of way and no one would know. And have a bad day, no one would know. But in Sandy's case, in dealing with these clients that people have to deal with in the community, some of them, and for her to be able to do that and then come to the station and connect with the community, and then even all the way down to the people who are the different businesses that are in the building, watching her communicate with them, it was flawless. It was seamless. And like Dr. Spearman said, you could learn a lot. You didn't have to talk to her. You could just learn a lot by just watching her move.
That's right.
Yes.
And I did. I learned a lot. Like I said, I'm one of those that are raw around the edges. Okay? Very rough around the edges. Sandy was not that way. Sandy was always even keel, always, like I said, always elegant, always classy. I had my moments in which I would be out there looking like a pig with lipstick. But Sandy would always have that elegance. And I admired her for that because
Absolutely.
Always intentional. She was about not hurting anyone's feelings. She wanted to make sure that person knew that they mattered. That's business. No matter what you do, you have to be able to let people know that they matter. And I like the way she handled herself. We would, even doing the bookkeeping, we knew she'd do that. Finances like that. Some of us, we add 1 + 2, and that's enough for us. But she would go deeper into those, and you never knew.
She would,
And
yes.
sometimes I was come by because we have we come and have our church here, and also we have some offices in the back, and so I would come by or whatever, and I would see her. She was always kind about whatever way when you getting ready to. I said, I'm bringing my monthly payment or different things like that. She wouldn't see anything like that. She wouldn't see it like that. She would just more or less that I'm glad that you can have a place that you can come and worship.
Yes.
They have other churches that come and worship because that the business side. And when she saw that need, then Sandy opened up that door some
opened the
more.
door.
And 2 more churches reside in here. Not only that, many people have held conferences in here. Many have had different things that they need to do, a place to come in quickly for their business, and their conference room is reserved. So there's many things that she kept that eye out for your need. And if she heard you mention something, she would, she would help you to find a way to make that happen.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciated that about her. And so I'll come by. I had to go by the hall most of the time. We go by during the week. We go by in her office there, and we'd be walking down the hallway. And I know she was busy, but that door was cracked. She would never close it all the way. That door was cracked. So I'm gonna get my toe in here and just say hi to her. And I know she was busy. I said, I know you're busy, but I just want to look at you. I just want to see you, and say hi to you. And so that was one of the things. If she was working, she wouldn't say, well, look at you like, I don't have time for you, that lady, or something
no.
like. You never got that look.
you never got that from
like
her.
you said, Miss Jones, you might have got that look from me.
You would get it from me.
You might have got that look sometimes, especially when you're working hard.
For sure, you would
And
get it.
you got
Get
your
it
mind
from
on.
me.
So much to the station became to the point of inspiration information is turned into that to the point so much that our county comes in now.
Yes.
And the county comes, they're always waiting for whatever leadway will help give this community more information, more inspiration, and that's what it did. So we come in on Rise and Shine, Cumberland County. We have that particular show now, and so that she was so excited about that for the county to come in and express. So it's a wonderful thing that you have to have, as I said, that character that goes with being able to reach others. And again, I love there in the point of, let's talk about that, the women's luncheon empowerment. Apostle Walker, you know what it might take behind the scene. You did the MLK, getting all the people together, making sure things would go in order and things like that. And so Sandy kept her cool, as you said, during those times of business. Sometimes when you get overwhelmed, but she knew that was her job. She knew her job, and she knew her purpose. Now, that's what sometimes some people say, well, you need to patronize black business owners and different things. And we want to do that, but at the same time, we want to know that you know your purpose, and we want to know that you know how you handling your business good yourself.
Right.
So at the same time, I just appreciate her handling her business and handling it with, and you knew she was doing the right thing.
Well, seeing as how I have 2 MLK events under my belt as the president of the FCCMC, I have talked to Sandy. Matter of fact, I talked to her before the very first one, and she shared some things. But this last one, I came in and talked to her afterwards. And we can sit here all day long and say what people don't know. People don't really understand when you're trying to do something of a magnitude of, we had 1,500 people in the Crown this year. They had 10,000 in the Crown. It takes a lot to be able to service that magnitude of people. And so we always had to talk to the Crown. But one of the things Sandy and I both talked about and came in agreement on, there are a lot of people that have a lot of criticism, but they don't realize what you go through behind the scene trying to put on the event to make it nice for everybody.
Yes.
And so most of the thing is going to come from the food. And so when you sit down and you come up with a menu for the Crown, they're going to tell you how much it's going to cost per person. And so people might complain about the salad that we got at the women's empowerment luncheon. But if they factor in the cost that they try to keep it for everybody, factor in, okay, if I go a different way, how much more that would cost. If we said, okay, we won't do salad this year, we'll put something else on. Well, if you see the cost of the ticket go up, you're not factoring in the case that somebody complained about the salad. So here we are at the Crown. And again, we had some missteps, and you don't see a lot of things until after the fact. So I heard someone say earlier that Sandy had heartbreaks too. As a leader, you do have heartbreaks because your thought is that we're going to put on an excellent event. Aesthetically, it looks like it's the excellent event. And until you find out later that there was some missteps. Well, you can't do anything about it then, but it can help you to work smarter in the future. As history makers, I think it was Abraham Lincoln that ran for president, I think 5 times before he actually became the president. And when I look at Mary McLeod Bethune, and what she started her school with. And there are many other examples of women starting their own business. Madam C.J. Walker. Some more I can't even think of to call. However, when I sit in the room in real time with people like you all, I can understand more. So I thank you, Dr. Spearman, for mentioning about your contractor. So maybe I can get an appointment with you to sit down and talk to you and see what that looks like. Now, I will tell you, our desire is not to build. However, if you can share some things with me, whether we build or not, it could help us moving forward. And like you said, a lot of women won't talk to you.
They won't.
But because I have a relationship with you, I know you will sit down with me and tell me how to move forward, what pitfalls, pit holes not to fall in.
Exactly.
So we have to be wise enough as women to make sure we share. And sometimes it's not just women, it's brothers too.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
we are making a stake in the community. And what I like to tell people, I love God and I love his people. So with that being said, I'm going to love the community.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I can to support the community. And that's what Sandy brought to the table. She brought us contributing to the anniversary. It really was their anniversary, but it was ours too. And so we were able to come and make it a part. And that's what I want people to see about the FCC, MC, and the MLK March. I know we're helping high school seniors and putting a scholarship in their hand. But it's more than that. It's where we come together as a community. We fellowship with one another. We see how each other are doing. We allow the young people to know that we're here for them. And what better way than to invest in them? This year was the first year I impressed it upon our church to come to the church. I purchased extra tables for my church to come, and I wanted our youth there. They was there that Saturday helping, so they could see what excellent looks like, what they can see the work in the community looks like. And then on the next day, they came in and they was a part of the celebration.
Absolutely.
What
Yes,
better
yes,
way
that's it.
to teach our young people than to allow them to be a part of the process?
And we'll be
that's-
right back in just a minute. Hold that thought. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the essence of the idea that leaders, you know, a true leader, they make it look easy. And we're going to talk about that.
Oh,
we'll
my.
be right back.
Your station for inspiration and information. 1600 AM, 99.7 FM, WIDU1600.com. We are WIDU Fayetteville. We do radio. Follow us on Facebook at WIDU 1600 AM.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. Vice President J.D. Vance will make a trip to North Carolina tomorrow. He will be in Rocky Mount. The event will be held at Rocky Mount Mills. CBS's Matt Gutman in Tel Aviv today says much of Iran's war-fighting capacity has been damaged or destroyed, but what is left has significant impact.
Its navy is significantly depleted, but it does have many thousands of various kinds of missiles, including anti-ship missiles, and that's what we are told were being used in the Strait of Hormuz against at least one ship, possibly others.
CBS News contributor Courtney Keeley tells us about the outlook for a widening war in the Middle East and Hezbollah and Lebanon as they get assistance from Iran as it responds to Israeli airstrikes. Lebanese people are leaving home now.
The problem right now is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is saying that Hezbollah and they are carrying out these attacks together on Lebanese soil. So it's going to draw the Israeli army towards a new front.
Scott Turner, Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, returned to Asheville on Wednesday as state and federal leaders continue to assess the region's long-term recovery needs after Hurricane Helene. There are concerns about an HUD rebuilding program, and he tells WLOS.
We'll look into it. We're happy to find out and get the answers for the people that are asking, because that's part of our responsibility.
Dog owners may soon be able to walk their pets on Wrightsville Beach if a new ordinance is passed. Douglas Wilson of Wrightsville Beach has been frustrated in the past that he's not allowed to walk his English Springer Spaniel on the sand from April 1st to September 30th. He tells WWAY.
I live out on Wrightsville Beach Island, and I can look across about a block away and see the ocean. And for 6 months of the year, I cannot take my dog out and walk on the beach.
You're listening to NCI News.
For the rest of our Thursday, showers and storms are possible. Some of those could be strong to severe, packing damaging wind gusts. Temperatures will gradually drop through the rest of the day today. We'll drop into the mid-40s by this evening and have breezy conditions, then even colder overnight. Temperatures drop to the mid-30s to start the day on Friday, and we'll have mostly clear skies by Friday morning. As high pressure builds in for the start of the weekend, lots of sunshine Friday, highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
If you have been injured in a motor vehicle collision, you should understand that the insurance company is not on your side. It is the adjuster's job to get by with paying you as little as possible. Call personal injury trial lawyer Brent Adams now for a free no-obligation consultation. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
As a cold front moves through the state, we'll see a good chance for showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. Then we'll clear this evening through tonight and have chillier temperatures by our Friday morning, a cooler afternoon Friday. Showers and storms are likely mainly through this afternoon, and we'll drop to the mid-40s by this evening with breezy conditions. Mostly clear with temperatures dropping to the mid-30s by Friday morning, then sunny on Friday with highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
I'm the thread that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
You ever notice how most helpful information always seems to show up just a little too late? Like, oh, the deadline was yesterday. Or,
you know, you could have saved money if you've done that earlier.
Timing matters. That's why Fayetteville PWC wants you to know the summertime of use schedule begins April 1st. With smart timing, you can lower your energy costs by running appliances like washers, dryers, and dishwashers outside of peak hours. And by adjusting your thermostat just a few degrees higher between 3 and 6 in the afternoon, you can save even more. It's a simple shift that helps reduce strain on the energy grid, supports a more sustainable future, and keeps power reliable for everyone in our community. Because at Fayetteville PWC, we're committed to being environmentally responsible, dependable, and deeply invested in the place we all call home. Timing matters, and smart timing means savings. Learn more at startsaving at faypwc.com.
And welcome back to our Women's History Month, highlighting our very own sister, Sandy Cookman, a great woman of God. And so many times we don't know the business side of her, and we're going to continue to talk about that. But right before we do that, I think we have a caller on the line. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Go ahead, sir.
Hey, this is Elder Glenn Oaks, and I just want to call and offer our condolences, the Oaks family, our condolences to the West family, and also to the WIDU family, which Sister Sandy helped to grow in our community. I met Sister Cookman back in the 90s when we had the crusade with Superintendent Jesse Williams, and soft-spoken lady. And just down through the years, the WIDU events and just been in a community. You couldn't call Wes's name without mentioning Sandy, and likewise, you couldn't mention her name without his. And they're such a role model of humility in business in the community. And we love the Cookman family, and of course, we love our WIDU family also. And so we just want to say that we have the family in our prayers, and we pray that God just give them strength. And I always pray for the young people who do not understand the loss of a loved one or relative. So that's all we had to say. Just want to say that we love Brother Cookman and his family and Sister Kim.
Thank you. Thank
God
you so
bless
much, sir. Thank you so much for calling in. So we're going to go back into the highlighting this specific leadership calls for character, skill, knowing how to handle, and being full of integrity. And so we want to highlight this part about Ms. Cookman. You know, sometimes when you're leaders, you can make the job look easy. And so somebody said, I can do that. I can do that. But they don't know the dynamics that it takes to obtain the crown, what it takes to make sure those tickets are so that someone else can enjoy. They don't know what it takes for those aspects. So we're going to talk about leadership right here. We're going to talk about her leadership and what she did. As we were talking before the break, I'm going to let you bring back some of those same ideas concerning her as a business person. But please bear with us. We have another caller on the line.
First met Sandy, and even beyond.
Caller, we can't hear you at this time. Who are we talking to?
Yes, hey, this is Pastor Dawn Branch. I'm part of the Pastors Coalition, and I just wanted to say that in listening to what everyone's saying, and you know, I knew Sandy as well, and just the integrity, that she walked in, and this is Women's History Month, and I began to think about other women in Black history or in history in general, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and Sandy was, for us, she was that woman. She was that example. of a powerful woman, although she was, behind the scene, and as we were saying on the radio one day, she was not, out in the open. But the things that she accomplished, like her light still, just shining on. And then we could see her in the network, in the individuals of the network, and because the work's going to carry on. But she was such a woman of integrity, a woman of power, and a strong, strong woman. She was quiet, but she was very strong at the same time. And I'm quite sure that others of you have experienced watching her in that quiet place. But when it was time to speak or when it was time to handle business, that business Sandy would come out. That integral Sandy would come out. And she's going to be truly missed. There will never, ever be another Sandy. But as Wes has told us, the work has to go on, and she will never be replaced. And we understand that, but we are still going to miss her. We are still going to miss that presence, that conversation, being able to see her at the women's empowerment. And the other thing I was thinking about with the women's empowerment, we don't think about all the work that goes behind it. Like, she had to try to get sponsors, she had to get the sponsors, the planning, and as Apostle said, she was part of that. She was able to witness those things. And she's just going to be greatly missed. She's going to be greatly missed, and we're keeping Wes and Kim in our prayers, the WIDU network in our prayers, and we just know that, she may be gone, but she will never be forgotten. And thank y'all for letting me have this moment.
Thank you, Pastor Branch, another part of the WIDU Pastors Coalition, been doing great works and help to carry and support during this hour. We definitely thank you for calling in. So let's get right into that before we forget. Let's get on into the business part of it, where leaders make it look easy. We don't know what it takes to go, say, operate, getting something set up at a Crown. We don't know what it takes for getting tickets. We don't know what it takes. And sometimes, because even as pastors and preachers, we can make preaching look so easy to everybody wants to preach. And then when we give them an opportunity to say a speech, with the mic, they go to pieces. So you find out behind the scenes, we're doing works that you never know. There's been the school that it took, the training that it took in radio. She was trained in radio, schooled in radio. And so when you're seeing her talking or doing the work, these others, WIDU staff, the ones that Mr. Paul, Pastor Paul, and different ones that are working the soundboards and everything. We're sitting back enjoying, but we don't know what it takes behind the scene. Let's talk about what it takes behind the scene as being a leader, to be able to not only extend your business out for others, but at the end of the day, they don't walk away and say, I'll never deal with them again. But so let's talk about it, Apostle, and go around the room.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, even as we listen to one another, even during the break time, we understand that leadership, and especially we witnessed Sandy doing this, and we had an opportunity to work with some of the inside things, so we could see a lot of the techniques that she used, and that's why she's so impactful to the rest of us as we go forward doing things, because we were literally there working with her. And Sandy had the unique ability to select the right people to do the right things, as one might say. She was gifted, and she didn't only have a vision for what she was doing, but she was trained and she learned, and she was never skeptical about listening. She would listen as well as she would speak. And so her listening skills, I believe, taught her so many things from so many others, and she used those skills. And because even studying, even as pastors and leaders, we all know that just because you can preach doesn't make you a pastor.
All right. That's right.
So
That's it right there.
We have to understand
we need another show.
We have to understand that they're all gifts. And Sandy worked her gift well.
Yes, she did.
That was her gift. And she studied it, and she worked it, and she learned it well.
Yes, she
And
did.
so the Bible even teaches us that the gift will make room for you. And so Sandy's gift made room for her.
Yes.
And she caused us all to just enjoy what we were doing. And we were as eager for the anniversaries and ready to work with her. We were in anticipation.
Yes.
And that's a gift to be able to cause others to desire to work with you.
That's so true. And with every gift, if you study spiritual gifts, just gifts, with every gift that God gave you, there are pitfalls to
Yes,
your
all of
gift.
it.
And so, just like if you're the prophet, I might see you finna do some stuff you shouldn't do. God might show me, but I don't need to put you on blast. I need to be praying when the Lord wants me to say different things. So that's how Sandy was. She didn't put you on blast. She could have, because she knew that she was making an opportunity for us to get to come to the show, to come to the concerts. Miss Jones.
Yes, ma'am. One thing that we say in radio, if we make it look easy, that means we're doing our job and we're doing it well.
Yes.
If a person feels that after watching us, or I can go up there and I can do that, or after speaking, I can get up there behind the pulpit. I already know I speak for a living, and I'm not going to get in behind the pulpit. But if we do that, that means we're doing it well. That means we have gone to school to do what we've done, or we have years of experience that people don't know about behind the scenes. And that's what Sandy did. And another thing, talking about the We Do anniversary, a lot of people I heard, because I'm out there in the community heavy. Ms. Jordan knows that I'm out in the community heavy. And I would hear, the tickets are too expensive. Well, first of all, you spend $10 at the fast food place every day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is that you don't really know what goes on behind the scenes to build and plan something of this magnitude.
Yes.
We were talking in between the break. Everything from getting the sponsors, that's the business end of everything.
That's the business part.
To the sales, that's the business end of everything. But then you have to deal with the artist.
Business.
Somebody said, Then you have to deal with the artists that are coming into town. And artists, what a lot of folks don't realize is that they come with a rider.
Yes.
And what a rider is basically saying, I want this kind of food, I want this kind of drink, I want this kind of living arrangements, I want to stay here, I want to sleep here, I need this transportation. Now, in addition to getting sponsors, in addition to handling tickets, in addition to getting the bulletins printed for y'all to take home as keepsakes every year.
Yes.
She was dealing with those artists too.
Yes, she was.
Absolutely. Every one of them.
Yes, she
They
was.
came
Every
through her.
one of them.
They came through her.
They came through her. They came through
To
her.
get here.
Miss Cookman, even when I had a women's conference myself at this particular setting, and I was trying to I made it a fundraiser, and I was trying to get an artist to come in and to sing and be with us, and someone looked out and found us an artist. And so the artist that could come said, I can come, and I'm not trying to, however you do your fees, I'm not trying to bother that, but I'm just saying what I was trying to do, show you how you're getting tickets the way they're getting for that price. And I was saying, well, yes, this one artist was going to come, probably about 20, 30 minutes, and that cost was going to cost me $10,000.
Exactly. See, that's
And that was the low end.
That was the low end
That was
of
the
it.
low end.
That was the low
That's
end.
very low end.
Low end.
Yeah.
I said, well, we're going to have to forfeit your coming because I'm having a fundraiser here.
Okay.
But anyway, we laughed about it. We just laughed. But that person was very kind to us and was not trying to, not help us. But I'm just saying how it is. You think
That's the
when they're
reality.
just giving you just a nugget of what they can do, what it can cost. And so we don't know. So a lot of times when we're sitting there, if we're complaining, those leaders still have to smile, the stress, the everything. And even when we came to the women's empowerment luncheon, it's called luncheon. It's called luncheon. It was not called dinner. It was not meant to be more than a salad. And so a lot of us had health issues. We needed the chicken sandwich with the grill. We needed. She just had our interests. It was best at heart. Our best interest was there for her. She wanted us to make sure we had a wonderful time. She would even ask me about the ladies that were speaking, that would preach, and what do you think about this? Listen to this person. What do you think about that? I would just say, as a preacher, I wish I could preach like that. but she was telling me all those things. She just had the
art.
Yes, the heart. You were at heart. So let's go with you, Apostle.
Well, speaking on that business aspect, again, you have other people around you. And so whenever I go to the Crown, I never go by myself. And you learn things through trial and error. And so one thing I've learned being the leader of any organization, you can't have everybody speaking to the organization that you're dealing with. Because sometimes they might not carry your vision or your heart.
There it goes.
And then sometimes they might say, oh, we need 2 more tables without consulting the leader. You go to settlement and find out, why did you charge me so much? Now, you twisted and out of joint. But you didn't know that those 2 tables you was going to have to pay for.
No leaders are covering that.
Yes, so therefore, sometimes we're labored as micromanagers. In essence, we're not. We're looking out for the organization, for ourselves, and also for the money. Because everything has a cost.
Everything.
So that's that one piece. Then you got to deal with ticket. You got to purchase the tickets. You got to sell the tickets. You got to print the brochures. That's a cost. You have to have insurance for the Crown. We're just using the Crown because that's the only place So you got to have insurance. And also understand, there was a year that the FCCMC could not have the brunch because of the weather. We had everything set. I wasn't the president then. Apostle Sharon Thompson Jernigan was. Everything was set in the Crown, ready to go, and we had to cancel it. The insurance does not cover snow or ice. So we had to take it all down and put it back up in February. So a lot of times the people only know, oh, they had to cancel, but we still had to pay.
They don't know.
They don't know behind
that
the
decorator.
Then we had that person steps out on the stage, smiling, never
just
looking
like,
at you funny.
Never.
Just and that's one thing about Miss Cookman doing the luncheon and other business that she did. But with the luncheon, people, I was saying that just you all heard the story. She gave her story from her healing that she got, the blessings she got after she had surgery at the luncheon, and she was sharing that. But many didn't know I would see her right in here, even with her having had surgery.
Yes,
she was determined to come in and work and make sure things would go forth. She was still working. And I was saying, well, me, I would have been somewhere laid up. They say I got 30 days off. But she was determined. This thing is so needed. And for the success of it, I'm going to deny myself. You have a lot of leaders sometimes when they know they can take advantage of the idea that people want to be seen with them or want to be known with them and just go ahead and take advantage of that. But that's not what Miss Cookman was. Whatever you came in to do, she was steadily pushing you, helping you to realize different things that could be. This is what the Women's History Month is about, helping other women, powerful women, to see, just women, young ladies, teenagers, all of you sitting around the table today, just the great things you're doing as women. And like you said, you still have to shoulder up. You're meaning well, and somebody else is looking at all the work you're doing. Well, she thinks she's somebody. She thinks she's better than me, and the person haven't even seen you. And I've been to, I've walked by, thought I spoke or whatever, and walk in with all what's on my mind to do as a leader, and the person said, "You didn't speak to me." Darling, I didn't even see you, but could not you speak to me?
That's right,
I mean,
to get my
attention.
attention.
Could you do that to get my attention? So we don't even
it.
know. We don't become smart-mouthed. We just keep on doing what we have to do because the leader sees the need. And they see how important it is to the point they deny themselves.
That's
what I'm trying to say about Ms. Cookman. She would deny herself for the sake of others.
I think that this is the same walk that people like Surgeon of Truth and them, they had to do that. They knew how important the mission was, that they literally would deny themselves. They would put themselves out there on the block. She would stand up in a crowd and speak and talk about racism, or talk about unfair treatment, or talk about slavery, or talk about things, and walk up in Congress and start talking about things that they had wasn't even invited to come to, or never given an opportunity, but they would make opportunities happen. And these are the kind of traits that I believe that that we can gain from women like them. And I'll tell you the truth, the things that I've seen and witnessed Sandy Cookman do right here at the station and at the other stations that I had an opportunity to work with her with, I would put her right there in the league with those other women that would stand and would just speak truth to the matter. And to let us know, because I recall one day that there was someone that was coming on the station. He was a preacher, and his language and some of the things that he would talk about, he would be putting women don't have no business doing this. And the young lady said something to Sandy, and Sandy says, "Yeah, I understand." She said, "But I'm not his judge." And I didn't call him to preach. She said, but he does pay for this time that he's having on the station, and the station must go on. We must continue to keep the station going.
Yes.
She said, so let's just all pray about it.
And that is one of now.
That was her ability to let you know I hear you.
Yes.
But my motive is different, even though I don't necessarily like what I'm hearing. But he's not doing anything that's illegal. He's not, tearing the station up or anything like that. But so I owe him the same respect that I owe you.
Yes.
It's kind of what she let us know.
And that's, thank you, Apostle Spirit. That's when you understand leadership.
Exactly.
Leadership understands assignment.
Yes.
I'm assignment oriented. Leaders have to be. So even though you're saying something, my goal, I have to reach my goal. And so the enemy is always, the devil's always going to throw some things out there.
Busy.
Distractions. He's going to always use distractions.
Always.
And so most of the time it's those that you really love, that are close to you, that you thought, well, really, because, if you don't know the person, it really doesn't bother you. So a lot of times those distractions can come from the body of believers that, we really need to support and lift up. And we know what they're doing for our churches to try to help and promote us to go forth and be known in the community. But they work quietly behind the scenes, no horns being tooted. But I'm going to say, even when we come into the station, sometimes a lot of us don't even look at that. But to the left of these West and Sandy were the 2021, they received the GMA Dove Awards, the 52nd one, and they received that, and they don't say anything about it. You be talking about stars and different ones. They got Grammys, but these great men and women of God, they came in, West and Sandy. Didn't put themselves out there. As it reads, they are award winners. 2021, the 52nd GMA Dove Awards. That's something. That's a big award. That's a big award. That's
but they
huge.
Earned it.
And that's what we're saying. They were servers, and they still are servers. As far as West in the community, even the things he's saying, even about Miss Sandy, he wanted to open up this this whole entire week, giving people time to call in. They can't speak at the homegoing, but you can say what you need to say. You can express what you know about your friend. You want to say that. We want to make sure you have that. So we applaud our Brother West. And for Sister Kim, we send our love out to you for sharing this opportunity to even talk about your mom, talk about your wife, because you could have did it different. So we thank you for that. And not only that, we was talking, and God has blessed me. I'm saying that to say this about how humble they are to receive the Order of the Long Leaf Pine. But we just serve it. And when I came in, he said, well, let's do a radio show. And you just talk, let's do it and do it. And I went to looking up to find out that he had also received the Order of the Long Leaf Pine. Brother West has that as well. So they don't toot horns, is what I'm trying to say. They're walking humbly with their, because they understand this is a service. This is a work that we're doing for people in our community. So I'm so glad and so excited about that with that business aspect. So let's talk about now.
Yes, go Pastor ahead. Teresa, before you go on, I'm glad you brought up about the longleaf pine, because I was going to bring it up about you. And we're sitting here talking about Women's History Month and all the contributions that have been made. So was it last night or the night before? I think it was the night before. I looked up the longleaf pine because I wanted to know what it was all about. And it says, working in the community for 30 years. So when I made the statement earlier that I feel as though I'm you all's junior, that goes to that point. And you're sitting here as humble as you can be. I know we're talking about Sandy, but we're all connected to Sandy. But you have pioneered and received this award. And it speaks volumes to the epitome of the woman of God that you are. And you're still alive to talk about it. And not to the point that you're braggadocious about it, but the fact that you are sitting in the midst of history. And it needs to, we just need to know this.
Yes.
Dr. Spearman, I don't know how many years you've been in ministry. I haven't had that. Gotten that understanding.
22.
22? Miss Omega, I've been hearing you, that voice, you have a distinct voice.
Yes, we love to hear it.
I'm just now understanding that the radio aspect of your life. So as we talk about Sandy, we're all touching Sandy. We're all touching her, and her being an entrepreneur, a black female entrepreneur in this day and time and age, and how she carried herself with distinction, and you would never know it.
You never know it.
So thank you for allowing me to have that moment.
So that's what we are, and even at this moment in time, when we say Women's History Month, it's a time that we can continue as even sharing with our young ladies, teenagers, and young girls. And I remember the time here that we, in our ministry, we offer during the summertime that we tutor those from grades 5 years old all the way up to about 10 or 12. And we were tutoring them during the summer. When school turns out, let's get you ready for the next time when
for
school
next session. We did that as well.
And so we were doing it here at the station. And so when I remember when it was such a Sandy really loved the idea that we cared about the children, and she just came into us and she just did this, and she said, listen, this is such a great job that you're doing. There's not going to be a fee for this. And that's a week that we ran that. There's no fee for that, because I'm just really proud of what you're trying to do is to help some. That's one of her songs that she loved. That song we've been playing by Fred Hammond.
I'm just a nobody.
I'm just a nobody.
Trying to tell everybody.
Trying to help someone. Because see, when you sing, I think her origin was Mount Olive. Am I sure? I think that's where she.
I'm not sure.
A young lady was telling me that she was from the same area. I think we talked about it the other day with Miss Brenda Jackson. I think we talked about it. But the idea of that she is what we call a country girl. The country girls. But what you learn, even as you're coming up as a country girl, you learn to serve. And so those qualities, that integrity, came along with Sandy, and she kept it, And sometimes so she was always looking. She heard you, and that sensitivity to meet that need really meant the world to us. So again, as women, this is our time that we can highlight the works of Miss Sandy Cookman. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Two shootings hours apart in different parts of the country. One at the largest Jewish synagogue in North America near Detroit reports the suspect has been killed and there are no other injuries. Earlier today, a shooting at Constant Hall at Old Dominion University in Norfolk. The injured, two of them hospitalized. The shooter has been killed. Diesel prices up again, now up over $5 a gallon. A number of truck drivers say that's a major concern. South Korean lawmakers passing a law that would implement a pledge of $350 billion in U.S. investment Seoul made last year to avoid Trump tariffs. Government officials had urged lawmakers to quickly pass the bill as uncertainty mounts in the world economy. This stowaway, truly, sly as a fox, a red fox somehow slipped onto a cargo ship from England that wound up in New York. It was carrying automobiles. The Bronx Zoo now caring for that 11-pound male fox. Bruce Farrell, NCN News.
For the rest of our Thursday, showers and storms are possible. Some of those could be strong to severe, packing damaging wind gusts. Temperatures will gradually drop through the rest of the day today. We'll drop into the mid-40s by this evening and have breezy conditions, then even colder overnight. Temperatures drop to the mid-30s to start the day on Friday, and we'll have mostly clear skies by Friday morning. As high pressure builds in for the start of the weekend, lots of sunshine Friday, highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
If you can no longer work because of illness or injury, you should be collecting Social Security disability insurance benefits. Call Brent Adams now for a free consultation. Don't give up just because you've been turned down. Brent Adams has helped thousands collect full disability benefits, even after they've been turned down. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
God bless. This is Pastor McAllister, and we would love to be able to invite everyone to share tributes to our late Miss Sandy Cookman. We know many of you want to take time to pause to share with them. Therefore, what we're doing here at the WIDU radio station, we're opening up the phone lines starting on March the 9th through the 13th from 1 to 2 p.m., asking you to please call in, share some love, share a tribute to them. Again, Monday through Friday, March the 9th through the 13th from 1 to 2 p.m. Please call into the radio station 910-483-6111 or even stop by to share some love. They would love to hear from you. They want everybody to have an opportunity. So we are opening up the station and the phone lines starting Monday, March the 9th through the 13th, 1 to 2 p.m. Please call in, take a moment to share words of love, compliments, how you felt about this wonderful woman of God, and we know the family will appreciate it. God bless. Please share that word. Love you.
Hey, you looking for your next car? Start at Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville. At Bryan Honda, we make buying a car simple, stress-free, and affordable. Whether you're searching for a brand new Honda or a quality pre-owned vehicle, we've got a huge selection to fit every lifestyle and every budget. From fuel-efficient Civics and Accords to family-friendly CRVs and Pilots, Bryan Honda has the perfect vehicle waiting for you, and with our friendly, knowledgeable sales team, you'll never feel pressured. Need financing? No problem. Bryan Honda works with multiple lenders to get you approved fast with competitive rates that make sense for you. Plus, our certified service department is here long after the sale, keeping your Honda running strong for years to come. Drive smarter, drive happier, and drive home today from Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville, or you can visit online, BryanHonda.com. Your road starts here. Nobody beats a Bryan Honda deal, not now, not ever.
If you need a lawyer or you've been involved in an accident resulting in serious injury, call the Rogers Firm at 910-433-0833. We have a proven track record for getting results for persons injured due to the negligence of others. What you don't know can hurt you, and you need a firm who cares about you. So call the Rogers Firm at 910-433-0833. That's Attorney Alan Rogers and the Rogers Firm, a proud member and sponsor of Wake Up.
As a cold front moves through the state, we'll see a good chance for showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. Then we'll clear this evening through tonight and have chillier temperatures by our Friday morning, a cooler afternoon Friday. Showers and storms are likely mainly through this afternoon, then we'll drop to the mid-40s by this evening with breezy conditions. Mostly clear with temperatures dropping to the mid-30s by Friday morning, then sunny on Friday with highs at around 60. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
Yes, and welcome back again to our highlighting our Miss Sandy Cookman. We want to spotlight her. This is Women's History Month, and what better time to spotlight those that we know have done great works and great achievements and accomplishments, but at the same time have kept the character and the attitude of a server. Mm-hmm. And so many times people look at people that are serving, or sometimes we can make the work look so easy, the person feel like, I want to do that, I want to do that. And so again, we're going to talk about the heartbeat of a server, the server, what it takes to be a server, because that's what Miss Cookman was. And you know, I take from this thought here, many times people look at people that serve and think, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then sometimes they're jealous, and sometimes they're mean-spirited because they don't know how hard you are working behind the scene. And there was a phrase that was said one time, if you do what I do, then you can have what I have. So a lot of people say that, you want what I have, but are you willing to do what I do? Let's talk about that heart of a server, starting from my right here, Apostle.
Oh, praise the Lord. Listen, thinking about the heart of a server is I think that heart is a gift. Actually, you can also learn, you can be trained to be a server, but the real key, I believe, is to allow God to use your heart and to open it up to Him. Because if you can ever open the heart to God, then it'll be easier for you to deal with people, because God loves people. And if you love God, you're going to love people as well. Yes. And so your heart will be easily open to serve. But serving is a gift, and unfortunately, all people don't have it. The heart of a servant is that they will make things happen that appear to be so simple and so easy, but in reality, if you follow them around before they got it to be where it is, they labored. They labored a lot, and they labored not for themselves, but they labored with the vision that they were doing it for others.
Yes.
And so the heart of a servant is to be able to do marvelous works and wonderful things and large things that seem like it's so, wonderfully put together, and it was. But it was done from their heart, for you, for others, and not for themselves. They always had a vision how this would work for them. It was never for, this is how I see it, this is what I'm going to do, and I think I want to. No, it was always for the group or the congregation or the people that they were doing it for. They desired them to be comfortable, for it to be a pleasant atmosphere. So they thought about all of it. They thought about the atmosphere, they thought about the food, they thought about everything that you would have to be confronted with, and then they would serve. And they would make it possible. And they would choose the right people to work with them to make that happen. That's the heart of a servant. It's for others and not for themselves.
Awesome. Ms. Jones.
I'm supposed to come after that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you got to make it work.
All right. One thing that I was taught in broadcasting school was connect with your community. And that is something that I do. as a broadcast professional, as a mom, as a wife. I connect with the community. There are so many stories out there, so many testimonies out there, and I feel that I'm honored that God has put me in a position to where I have a microphone. I have multiple microphones, actually, and I can talk to the masses, and I can share those testimonies. I can let folks know that there are resources available in the community that you need. And I've been blessed to be that person that connects those resources with people who need those resources. And on that alone, I'm just honored. I'm just honored, but you have to have that connection with the community. You're gonna have to. You can't go anywhere and be successful. Anyone that you've talked to, especially someone who does what I do for a living or what I have done for a living, their common denominator, they have a connection with the community. You have to be that servant. You have to be that person that is willing to be bold and talk about things that people normally don't talk about on air. You know, you have to be bold to tell people, I hear you saying God won't come into a secular radio station, but I have seen myself. I have seen God come into a secular radio station to come to my rescue. So on that alone, focus on the community. The community is the connection. The community is the pulse. That's how you know what's going on. You have to be connected. You know, it's kind of like when during the 2 months that I took a break from everything and I went out and I was like, well, when did that get built? And when did that get built? And when did they do that? Ooh, I got to start getting out more, because I had temporarily lost that connection with the community because I chose to be in isolation. So yes, being a servant, it doesn't matter what you do. You can be a bottle washer, you can be a CEO, you can be a minister, you can be chairman of the Fayetteville Ministerial Council. It really and truly doesn't matter. You've got to have that connection. You have to.
So awesome, so awesome.
And you do it so beautifully.
Awesome. Yeah, you do a wonderful job.
When you talk about serving, my husband is listening. And so he texted me, he said, the heart of a good servant is not expecting something in return. And as you all was talking, God just let me to know is that when you're serving, you are doing what you're doing without being seen. And a lot of times, I think you said it, Dr. Spearman, so many times people want to be seen with what they're doing. They want people to know it. But when you can do what God has assigned you to do without having to be seen, I think you said it too, Dr. McAllister, that God gets the glory.
Absolutely.
And that's the story we need to talk about. Because when people see you, they should see God.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And as you are working in what God assigns you to do, then he's the one to get the glory.
Yes.
And that's was the epitome of Sandy.
Yes.
That's it.
She worked without trying to work for recognition.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, she would tell you, I don't need that.
I don't need
no,
that. That's
no,
exactly
she,
what
you
she
know,
would say.
no, But you have to give honor to where honor is due.
Yes.
And just because your name wasn't called today does not mean it won't be called at all.
That's right.
Because there's a time and a season for God to do the elevating. And if you do what you need to do here, serving with a glad heart, then God will come in and he will bless you. I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, and
I
you better
know.
say it.
Well,
better
let's
say it.
let's just seal that also with as we the last couple of minutes we got. Let's seal this too with all of you. I'm going to let you have some final says, but I'm going to say this here with Matthew 20 and 28. And I will listen to you, Ms. Jones, how you said the Lord came into your aid and helped you to make sure that, you know, you'll be able to do the things he's deemed for you to do. But it said, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, not to be served, but to serve.
Yes.
And to give his life as a ransom for many. And so this verse highlights Jesus' purpose to serve and sacrifice.
That's right.
To serve and sacrifice. That's what Sandy did. To serve and sacrifice her time, her talents, or even her treasures. They could have had more, but they said, we're going to let this station be. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it just in that light of being a gospel station, but yet open to every avenue of information and inspiration.
Absolutely.
And rather than being served, is defining, it says, true greatness through humility and service. That's what true greatness was. So that's why this Women's History Month, we recognize true greatness from Miss Cookman. We recognize that. We saw the works. And no, that's not putting a person on a pedestal. The Lord says to give honor where honor is due. And so listen, even on Women's History Month, we want to encourage you. We did that in our Bible study on last night. We highlighted and saluted the women that were in our midst, and then we also went through the Bible, and we all those different women of the Bible that did great works and great feats and what they had to do. It was a whole lot of things they had to do. They were warriors, you know, all types of things, judges, all types of things. So study that, and I want you to say, especially, do not miss when your nation gives you the opportunity to be celebrated. Let's don't miss celebrate. I said to my congregation, let's not miss celebrating Women's History Month. Let's not miss, being nice to one another as women. You know, if you come up to a person, you may want to say, here's a card, I appreciate you. You know, you may want to do something. I want to babysit your children for a while. There's so much we can do to not forget women, you know, as women history. So we don't want to forget what God had given us, the time that He gave us with Miss Cookman. We don't want to miss that.
Absolutely.
We don't want to miss that. And God, we say thank you for allowing us to have this show to talk about her as her attributes that she gave. So again, true greatness is with humility and service. You know, and sometimes God won't give us, you know, certain things when they're getting ready to get a new king. We can't get him. No. You may thank them, but God is looking at that heart. He's looking at our hearts, and you'd be surprised. God will use, and then some people get upset because He may use that person without the degree. He may use that person that haven't been in that field for 40 years. He may say, I see a David. I see him on the backside of the mountain, and he's been working all along. I saw him when he protected his sheep when the bear came. He protected the sheep when the lion came. So I saw Miss Cookie for the little girl on. He saw her, and he knew her when she was formed in her mother's womb. God already knew that He could trust her. That's the key. That He could trust Brother West. He could trust them with this assignment, so much needed in this community. You know, and I didn't know the radio is something else. You know, sometimes we just need to have a whole, it's really something else, you know, and because at the end of the day, you want people to be edified. You don't want anybody to be left out.
That's right.
And so that's what they're doing, this family is doing. And so let's send a salute out to Kim, to the daughter. So if I'm all right going around, let's just send a salute out to Kim. Well wishes to her, that we see her too, that we recognize her too. And I'm sure there's many things she did behind the scene that we don't know. So we still want to celebrate Kim on today. Kim, we hope you're listening. We love you, and we're celebrating you as well on today.
Absolutely, Kim. I tell you the truth. Your mother loved you dearly, and you loved your mother dearly. And I'll tell you that's such an impactful thing, because too many children don't know how to appreciate their parents. But you did, and you stood right there, and you were always standing there. And I can recall this one time when I was out having dinner, and I saw you and one of your friends out having dinner. So, and I got the cashiers to bring me your check, and she when she got ready to, and I was long gone, but she told her mother about it, and she was just crying. She was saying, "Mama," and she actually, they paid for my, and Sandy she said Kim was just so caught up with that because she hadn't experienced that, and she was just so caught up with that we had actually, done that for her. So it makes me smile every time I think about it. And so when I saw her about a week or two ago, I saw Kim and she was waving hi, hi, and I was waving back at her, hi, hi. So all those kinds of things are important, that we do what God leads you to do when you have an opportunity to do it,
Yes.
And I just felt like doing it, and my husband and I, and we just enjoyed it, and Kim did too. So Kim, I want you to know that we care about you and that we're always going to be around. So call us, feel free to reach out anytime. We're here for you as well. We love you, we love your mother, we love your we love your father, and we love the family. So we're here.
Yes.
So make sure that you know that.
Yes.
It's not just something we're saying.
Yes.
Know that.
Know that.
In your heart.
Wow. Kim, we go back to Bragg Boulevard, boo. Working at we do it at the Bragg Boulevard location. Kim would be putting in those shows that the pastors would bring in. And every Thursday, I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday, or every Thursday or Friday one. And she would be in there and she would be uploading those programs to make sure that they played on Sunday. And that is when I saw that this is a family unit that is operating this whole ministry. It's the broadcasting station, yeah, but it's a ministry.
Yes, it is.
And Kim taught me how to use some of that equipment. She would show me how to upload different programs into the system. So Kim allowed me to say thank you for taking your time to teach me those things. And but yeah, my mind goes back to her on Bragg Boulevard when she would be going from studio to studio, making sure that those CDs and those cassette tapes, to go to show how long I've been there. All of those, she would make sure all of those programs were loaded into the system. Yeah.
Well, I have never met Kim personally, but Kim, thank you for allowing us to have the privilege of knowing and working with your mother. And just by knowing your mother, then I know you. So I would like to say God blessings to you. You have our condolences, our prayers, and our love. And if there's anything that myself and my husband, the church, New Hope Gospel Ministries Incorporated can do for you, for Wes, for WIDU, we're here for you. It's not just words that we're speaking in the microphone, but it's true from our heart. And we loved your mom. We love Wes. We love you. And again, we're here for you. God bless you. And we just pray for strength and for peace.
Yes. And with that, Sandy had a fun side about herself.
Oh,
there was
she
some
did.
things she was comical on some things, and some of the things, I don't know if you grew up in the country, you know, and you had a pet or you had a dog, and you grew up. Sometimes the pets were not the type of pets, you know, that just stay in the house and all that.
Like they are now.
So me and Sandy, we were laughing about it. She finally said, she said, I got the courage to get a pet. So she got a pet, little pet now named Nova, and she said, and she tickled me with it. She said, "Now, Sister Teresa," she said, I've always been afraid of dogs like that. You know, depends on how they will come at you. You know how sometimes that, especially down in the country, they say he won't harm you. He's okay. I said, yeah, until you get to step out of the car, and then you find out that he won't harm you. But but we love pets. Don't get it wrong. We love our pets. My daughter had a beautiful pet, and so again, we love pets. But this is the comical side. She said, I finally got me a pet. And it's, I think it's about a pound or 2 pounds, just a little small. And so she said, and so she knows that Kim, for you, Kim, she knew you would enjoy that. And so that was at the heartbeat of that, as well as getting you Nova, at the heartbeat of the family having Nova. When you go over, she's small and she's making a lot of noise, but once you get in, she's so loving, and it's just a peaceful. And that I said, me too, Sandy. Now I like that, the idea that the pet that they got is very soft and warming, but the idea was she knew this would be good for Kim. She knew this was some more love she could have for Kim. So Kim, you were definitely the heartbeat of your mom, and your mother loved you very much, and we know that. So again, we want to just tell you to do the best you can, we know, but we're all going to be praying for you and lifting you up, as it already has been said. Just continue to know that the family is here. Continue, as I make another announcement, please make sure you continue to join in on tomorrow, on Friday. The tributes are going through all the way on Friday. Friday's starting again at 12 to 2. Call in for tributes as well to highlight your sentiments towards Miss Cookman, towards the family. Please call in. And again, that service, Celebration of Life, will be on March the 17th at 11 o'clock at Kingdom Impact Global Ministries. So make sure let's come and continue to lift their arms up. Thank you for each one of the guests that are here today, and I just salute you highly. You're great women of God. Thanks for taking out of your time, your busy schedules, to come in and say we love Miss Sandy.